Dissimilar playing path from previous, but we start on the east this time and we head over to the west, ending above Val de Mar. We'll see if the drops do change up. We'll follow the playing path through. And this time, I think it would be fair to say you have to look towards that Turkey and Japan fight to see if it does kick off once again.
I mean, it just looks like somebody put down a reverse Uno card from the last game. It's just the exact opposite path coming across through here.
Instantly, just forces it back one.
But we are seeing China jump out much earlier this time. Remember, we saw them back down towards the south earlier.
Yep.
So it looks like they're making the push back around San Martin, at least Hacienda, north of that somewhere. Germany, a little bit of a modification as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see this mix up a little bit back and forth. Do you think that we're going to see set drop locations in this event, or do you think it's going to be a lot of modifications off the plane path?
So from individual teams, you'll see it in MPL, we see it in PL, other regions also. Sometimes you have a backup drop. When the plane isn't favorable to you, you will go somewhere else. For this scenario, I think it's just you have to have, and I've always said this, the best players in PUBG, not just for this league and this tournament, but the best players in PUBG, God, could you ask to land on a better weapon? I wish that happened, you know, just goes through the window and there's a scar, thank you very much. The best players are the ones who adapt on their feet. You can't just rely on, oh, you know, fair gentleman's game, I go here, you go there, I need this amount of loot before it's whoever adapts to the
Okay,
oh my. Well, I'm going to stop for a second because if this circle hard shifts down south,
give it to me.
We're going prison.
This is straight up NPL circle. This is my home territory, Rich. This is what I know.
The closest I have ever had, and I believe it was me and D-Man, the closest I have had is Los Higos. I've never had a prison or Minas de Sol.
I mean, we probably won't get one, but in my heart of hearts, like, you're like me. You just really love the evil circles, don't you?
I do.
We just became best friends now.
To be honest, this could potentially be quite an evil circle. One, because you already have 7 teams that are stationed within this. 2, you instantly, with the water and with that western cliff face, you say, okay, well, there's no point of entry there. So you're taking away, essentially, you're taking away a good, you know, 180 degrees of that map. You take away 50%. Well, no, sorry, excuse me. There's 25% left of that circle to make an entry point in.
Wait, look at this. Okay, so Russia has forever to go. These guys are around Terra Branca. Looks like they're making a push up to Campo Militar. This is just we know we're going to be in the blue. That circle is forever away from us, so let's just get whatever we want and make the push down whenever. I wouldn't be surprised if they actually push all the way back over towards the west before going back down south.
Yeah, they're going to be aware that Germany will be lingering in the distance, I suppose. This is more like a PEL contenders Russian team play, to be fair, going up to Militar, but nevertheless, it will be the furthest away from the circle, and they have a hell of a lot of job to get here.
Look at that leaderboard. 26 points. Second place is Germany back in 10th.
Just
huge.
In, you know, topography kind of feels. The harder part for this one is if teams decide to set up on that darker area of the map, the hillsides with all the ferns on, like the darker sand area. There's some really nasty plateaus there which you can just set up, perch upon, and basically just murder and rain down hell from above. And traversing those cliffs when teams are on top of them, you're just unfortunately asking to die because the cars are so slow going up. If you get an eyeline on 1 or 2 players, they're just gone.
The big factor also comes in to be how hard it is to go east to west and west to east. So if we see hard shifts onto either side of that, really just due to how the terrain plays, the pathing for the roads kind of carves this north-south dichotomy that's in that part of the map. If you have to cross back over towards the west, it is so hilly. You're going down cliffs or hitting those plateaus that you were talking about, and then just have to drop back down off of it. But I mean, much quieter early game this time around, but a lot of teams are already on the move. You can see we've got Thailand making a pass over next to Finland, but naturally Jim Team's not going to take any shots back over towards this. I think that everybody is aware that this circle is going to be pretty rough, so early rotations coming in much bigger, except for, again, Russia, who's still up around Campo Militar.
Yeah, that'll be a long one. You'd have to give them the saving grace and say no one's going to really camp the edge, and they should be able to take that entire eastern coastal road straight down and maybe just kick it through Puerto Paraiso, just go below Los Leones, somewhere there. But the amount of times you see a team either dying on arrival or at least dying in next rotation because it's such an awful place to maneuver from and rotate from. Several teams will probably just go below Picado, stay in the north, and hope that the circle comes up their way. If it does go down south, I have no idea what's going to happen, and honestly, it's just going to be a wild, wacky game. Teams setting up and being prepared for that. If you move close to Valdemar, you will get the bridge access to the island should you have to do it, and then you can basically just play spoiler to everyone else who wants to come across. The more interesting point for me is where the Finns are going to be setting up.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. They're set up in a nice spot for it. Are trying to get a little bit of high ground. It's like Vietnam's already looking back towards Canada, taking a couple of shots back towards them. Going for at least a couple of points to get this started, but Canada wants to have nothing to do with this. Going to continue up that hillside, and the modification coming out from Moody is also going to get them away. But again, you can see, we talked about momentum coming into games. Look at that. These guys are out for blood already. They know they're at the top of the leaderboard, and they know they have space to play. They can just go ahead and go as aggro as they want early, but Tixu looking back down over towards Argentina. I love this. This is just a trap waiting to go off. The shots come out, but they actually go a little bit wide. Not going to connect, but oh, the retaliation comes through. Tixu, you're going to regret that one.
Okay. From absolutely nowhere, Anesta just peppers in Santi!
No! The car's still going! Watch out! This is not the way you want it to end. Finland, what the hell is going on with you guys right now?
Oh, God. Somewhere in my mind, I just saw an image of Scoom's face flash, and I panicked. What?
Oh,
Germany!
they're going for it!
What's happened to Germany?
Argentina's actually coming up on us. They're throwing grenades into Finland in this down position.
The vehicle's next to it. The vehicle.
Oh, my Lord. This is so great, and this is vengeance. Remember, they started this. They took the shots at him. If that car rolls back down over onto him, they're still following back onto this. Finland's just trying to get out of this situation. They've already lost so much and got nothing for it.
Samti's dead. Tixu will be on the cleanup. You expect the Robox just to see him downwind. Help me, please. Somebody, please help me. Put me out of my misery. Bye. 2 points moved to Argentina. Finland are punished. Kane is forced to... Yeah.
That's what got your Germany boys right there.
Yeah, Kane's on the pull-up. He's like, okay, don't worry, lads. I got this. It's fine. You've made a mess, but we can put it back together. I have the tape. I have the bandages. Let's fix this and move on. Nothing happened. Don't worry about the blue.
But now they've got the worst villain of the game, the blue coming after them. That was caused by the second biggest villain in the game, the motorcycle. Well, at least it's not the three-seater motorcycle.
You took the words right out of my mouth. Thank the Lord there's no three-seater, because that would be probably the top fragger in not only this competition, but across of all the leagues entirely. Circle getting very, very condensed. All these players just being preemptive of where they set up. USA is the deepest so far, the closest to Valdemar, keeping an eye on that bridge and an emergency exit plan should the circle go down toward the south. China and Russia once again slow to the circle. All the way up on the northern side will be making their entry point around Monte Nuevo. Chinese Taipei, Western Road, just behind USA, but they're outside the circle, where USA is further afield down on the end of it. Australia, Korea, once again clashing heads. Not actually making contact, but still very, very close. Argentina had just been trailed ever so slowly by Canada.
Kind of interesting that we're seeing Russia and Canada on a complete inverted map from last time.
Yes.
Still out in the blue, close to each other. It seems like they have very similar rotation patterns that could be something we need to keep an eye on through the rest of this, as we might see these guys skirmish Circle 1, Circle 2 fairly regularly. Meanwhile, Great Britain's just making their way back over towards their hilltop, going to get themselves a nice little viewpoint from here. I love the sight lines in this position, especially once you start making your way up next to that church, getting those high ground spots. You can just see for days. The problem with it is, it's not necessarily as centered as everything is, so these guys are kind of praying for an eastern shift.
Don't know what will happen yet. Anything could. These guys from Germany are still in the blue, just so you guys are aware. The last two teams that are in the blue are actually Germany and Russia. Russia's all the way further afield in the north, just to the left-hand side of San Martin. China, not quite in the blue, but certainly playing edge for now. Circle about to condense. Where's she going to go? Is this going to get... Please, hard shift south. Just do it for the memes.
Do it. Bring it to us. Oh,
we avoid it.
Centered up.
Okay, we avoid it, but the difficulty is, Matrim, there is a hell of a lot of teams that are already set up in that circle. The ones on the outside now.
Canada and Vietnam are the two that are going to have the hardest part. Like, we see these guys that are still coming in from the blue, like Russia and them. The north is fine. Canada and Vietnam, this is going to be rough for them to push into circle.
Vietnam's turning face and actually having none of it. I can see them just disengaging completely from the path that they were on, so maybe they have the information.
Not again, Finland. Not like this.
The last two Finns standing in the vehicle, the tires, the smoke, the bullets. Korea's in front of them as well.
Korea's just on the other side. Are they going to be able to get away from it? No! It's going to be Pio that takes them down, and Finland down and out so early. There's only been 4 deaths, and all of them were Finland. I guess I'm just cursed. Is it anytime I predict someone to win?
No, I think it's because Finland begins with F, and that's what the chat should be spamming right now. They had a 12th place finish in the previous round, and only picked up 1 kill, and now they've got nothing. That is just a travesty. All 4 players dead. Finland out round number 2.
Well, this is I would say, a very interesting situation we're going to need to keep an eye on. We've already seen what can happen with Thailand and Korea whenever they decide that they want to start killing some stuff. And they've already positioned right next to each other. So we might have to see these guys rotate towards... I mean, we'll have to see how it goes through, but it could be spicy.
Really sorry to cut you off. Look at this of an interesting player on screen right now.
Vietnam?
So Vietnam disengaging, taking the bridge. This is dangerous, though. They might get lucky because USA isn't actually on the bridge itself. They're further and deeper inside Valdemar. So they could get a free entry point here.
Oh my God, is this going to happen again? Always North America early game, shooting at each other. So USA's got the low ground, taking a couple of shots back over towards Moody. A little bit of damage comes through. Bally8 does manage to take down Maluk off of this. So you can see now Canada's just trying to survive along this hill. Not a lot of space to work with. K-Mine finally hits a couple of shots, forces Baja back down that hillside, but a little bit dangerous. It's going to be third parties. Japan looking back down the other side of Canada.
Level 1 helmet on C's here. Needs to be very careful. One bullet comes his way, he's going to be in all kinds of trouble. Smokes and utilities being committed. Moody's
rough. That's a
cut
bad
off from the rest
right
of the pack, unfortunately. He's not out, but certainly in trouble for now. They'll need to... Oh, Drassel gets hit in the face with a grenade, and here comes the bombardment. Up and over we go. Japan just laying down the fire. It clips the wall, you lucky, lucky boys. But bleeding at the wayside. There's only one of them standing, I think, Matrim.
And it's Moody, the guy that we thought was in the worst spot ever right now, somehow surviving through this, just hanging out on this little bit of a dip. USA can't move forward because Japan's in the position, and Japan really can't come back down. So really, Moody's just stuck here. There's so many bullets going around him. There's nothing that he can do. Unfortunately, the rest of his team is just going to get flushed out here. As you can see, Japan's on the hunt for that last guy. Has no idea what's going on with it.
I like how they're being cautious, at least. They're not just running in.
Looking around
Full
for
arms up, and he's hiding behind the vehicle. I don't think he spotted him over the wall. They'll go for the bleed out. Grenades in the building. Shoot. Oh, it's a flash. Excuse me. Okay.
I think that they're expecting a res to be going off right now, so just going to go ahead and pick those up. Easy peasy kills coming through, but you can see new circle popped. It's actually going to be USA and Vietnam having to make their way up towards the north. It looks like China is looking back over towards Russia, taking a couple of shots. Russia's going to have to be very cautious on this approach. That's going to be one down, and it's Uva already just instantly flushed.
Completely destroyed instantly. Pick up the point. Russia finally do.
Point man on that.
They'll regroup themselves, but now Australia do have an eye line on this one, so Aduzi has to be careful. The stims are on, but it's not enough. Reposition the vehicle and hide the tires. That's fine. They're inside the circle, but it's not deep. It's expect to be moving further, and that's probably what they want to do. Take the next compound and give them a bit more of an obstacle to jumpstart them, should they have to rotate on the next round. Australia are in front of them, 2-2 split across. So this is actually 3 teams if you want to class all these compounds as La Driller. They are split amongst it. China up against it, should the circle be rather unfavorable to them. They need a hard shift in which they're able to stay in there. But as we saw in the previous round with Germany, staying in a compound, not being aggressive, it doesn't always play best.
Look, we do have Levi's way up there trying to get a little bit better of a sight line, but that's going to put a lot of distance back over for this. It's going to be some hard shots to hit.
I have noticed, Matrim, China's actually going solo. They're sending 4. They're keeping 2 back in 2 different compounds, but Summer and Godv are splitting. They've got themselves a foothold in here.
Well, we have Vietnam. Looks like they've decided that they want no part of what's going on. And again, I like this. There is no purpose in having that fight with USA. It's not even in the safe zone, so there's no reason to control that territory. Just reposition, move in ahead of USA, and gatekeep them out. Makes it very difficult for now. USA has to figure out how they're going to make that approach. And now USA is forced to look back up next to Japan. Germany's already making their way over in a circle. Looks like they're going to post up right over here next to Argentina. But oh, Moody still somehow alive, clinging to life as he's just narrowly going to make it back up there. But I think that Depp saw it.
This is rather unfortunate. He's basically landed in the place where the corpses of his fellow players are still warm from Japan, cleaning them up on a previous.
Right?
I suppose so. If he can get something off the back of it, because he needs to. Hell.
At this point, Moody is praying that USA engages Japan just so, like, please give me some cover. And oh, look at this flank around. They have one member from Japan. It's off to the side. Moody's going to take a lot of damage, and there we go. Canada is out from a nice reposition.
Japan hold point. Communication between two players holding two different angles. They were looking for that final one to capitalize and knock a team out and jump up a placement. Pome does spot out Germany, knows they're an arrival, so all of Argentina will be on red alert. The Germans are at the door in Kumasera, and they're further afield so they can keep them if necessary. All the way down south, it's a bit of a triple threat. Japan, USA, Turkey. Vietnam also, if you want to throw them in the mix, they're across the road.
Sixmo is actually looking back towards that crate right now next to Japan, so we'll have to see how that goes. Oh, Chris! Nice shot back over towards Pome. This is what he is known for. Follows through, just downs and flushes it. Germany's starting to feel a little bit aggressive here. They know now Argentina's over next to him. Look at this reposition come out from Brexcoat. No fear, just jumps right over to this hillside. And looking back on the open side of this warehouse, I love that play.
They'll have been given a bit of a kick up the ass in the previous round. That being passive is not the play of the game. Brexcoat down to 9 HP, forced out. Silzen, grenade in hand, he cycled it. He wants to finish this one off and capitalize. Needs to be careful that he doesn't overextend outside of the building because Chris is lurking with that K9.
We often talk about the fact that PUBG is about trying to make sure everybody has to play around your strategy. We're starting to see these really aggressive teams that just have absolute faith in their aim, just being aggressive, and it is paying off as Silzen goes down. You can see the other members are trying to capitalize, but it's going to be Great Britain's Miraku that gets that down on Brexco. So now Argentina has a little bit of a gap to work with, but has to be very cautious. Just 2 members up right now.
It's not often you see someone just pull up the vehicle on the back of the building from a very small area, but I suppose if it keeps you safe, then fair play, whatever works, lads.
Well, I think that was Argentina being very aware of the kill feed. They saw who got downed off of this, so they knew that they had the opportunity. So Great Britain really just giving Argentina a perfect reposition spot. But Kate doesn't care. Looking back over towards Earns, they've got to be super cautious, as now Australia is joining in the party, hitting a couple of shots back over this direction as well towards Germany.
The Aussies give him a tickle.
Oh, Turkey. Look at Turkey. They're starting to encroach over next to Argentina. They're wanting to third party this. They've snuck in. A beautiful death is looking back over towards Earns. This is going to be bad. He's just going to run right up into him. Argentina has nowhere to go. There's just one member up and alive for him right now.
Has to go for the reload, which is rather unfortunate. Otherwise, he might have gone for the spray down to the second player. Blue is encroaching on the back. He's not in a good position. The heel is off, and that's lucky. Up against it now, Sixmo and Co. They will look to capitalize and finish off this final player. Maybe pick up
but he's
a
behind
point
him
and
now.
a place. He is. But it all depends. You have to give the go sign for this. And this is what happened before with Turkey. They capitalized. They had the information. It was fed back. The damage is done. Levi's, Basil, they're all dying. Someone's cleaning them up. Oh my God. So the vehicle must have been flipped on the way down. China's just taking out 2 of Vietnam.
That is absolutely huge. You can see Vietnam is having to just run from this now. They still have another 2 on a motorcycle. This is just the most dangerous strategy you can choose to do on this part of Miramar. It's just waiting to flip a bike. So they do manage to at least get to safety off of this, but it looks like Russia's trying to get involved, as now Korea is taking some pot shots back over towards Japan, who couldn't make it down that hillside. We also have Turkey around the same. What is going on in these games?
Godv did go down to a grenade. He's still down, but not out. A teammate is pulling up to help him. That's maybe getting a little bit too overzealous and just tickling Russia a little bit too close. You have to be aware if you poke the back here, you're going to get the claws. Russia may have had a bit of a rough round in the previous one with a 15th place placement, but they have certainly no pushover. Michael still applying the pressure. Sees he's down, he's dead. They pick up a point. Japan's eliminated, so several different teams have actually gone to town on them. Now all of a sudden, Chinese Taipei. Duckman's instantly, the Terminator himself, he's dead instantly. Flush, a beautiful death finished off by Uda Mayafire.
Now it's still Argentina just hanging out inside the blue. They hear all of what's happening in front of them. Knows the fact that this is going to be ridiculously dangerous, and in the least stealthy vehicle in the world, trying to push by all of these teams, sees the new circle pop, hits the rock, but has to be cautious. Gonna go ahead and met up through that, so he should be fine. But Germany's looking back over towards Turkey. I have to be very, very careful as we move now. You can see the circles popped up. Germany just getting some circle love right now.
They are, but it's not going to be without fight, because how many teams have to come their way? They're in a good position. They hold a really good plateau, which will deny line of vision from below, but certainly a lot of people that want to make a pressure play to them or just a push with a vehicle will have to deal with them and move on board. Shippy, bullets do come back. Zampa gets responded on. Thailand, they answer the call. Valiant and Zampa simultaneously just melted as they approach the garage.
And you can see Sharky, Baha are trying to push back down into it, but they don't have the cleanest path anymore, as all of these people that are across this hillside are just raining down damage as they go. If you're in the valleys right now, your life is absolutely miserable. There are just people stacked up in these high ground spots, raining bullets upon your head.
For 5. Feint knocks him, have to get back on his feet. Thailand, wow, okay. Sharky and Baha turn up. It looks like, I wonder if they tried to get in the vehicle and they just murdered them.
Well, at this point, I think, and it's going to be another vehicle flip.
F.
Look at it this way. At least now nobody has killed them, right? They are the masters of their own destiny, right? Nobody else can kill us except for us.
Let's not give any teams any points. We'll just let the blue do the job. Oh dear. Sees Korea on the move. USA is up in the backlines as well. You can see Ionic. With the okay, the smokes are there, so he's at least helping his teammates out. Michael spots him, and that's a big scalp to take. If you can take down one of the top fraggers, Sharky, unfortunately for him in the kill feed, Loki spots him out. That's a marksman onto another marksman. Gives him a taste of his own medicine. Sixmo actually steals the kill away from Great Britain. Turkey pick up a point off the back of Korea.
So now it's getting very bloody back down towards the south. Korea's trying to gatekeep out everything. Korea eliminates the United States in just a beautiful spray. This is Korea, again, caught up in a fight with 3 different teams around them, and we can see they're perfectly comfortable in this position as Chris tries to line up another shot, goes a little bit wide, and you have got to be so cautious at this stage. Every single time you pull that trigger, it just draws so much attention your direction. Germany realizes they're starting to make their push up and around, but just look at the teams in close proximity around them. That mini-map is stacked full of teams.
You've seen on SR as well, holding an M24. On that roster, there was 2 sniper rifles. So if Germany want to try and tackle them head on, the range will be in their favor. They can answer back should Chris find a tag. Brazil, been a little bit quiet this game. They are lingering on the edge. Chinese Taipei just below them in the south. China up on the north. Summer and Mad 98 will have a difficult time. Russia, Australia, Germany, they control the circle. China could go to the north. They could take the hillside. There is a broken compound, but it will be exposed to the grenades from Russia. Brazil, Chinese Taipei, they're the ones that need to make the move here. The fight will engage between them. Once this is all said and done, though, Matram, Russia's lingering in the distance.
So now you can see a little bit of a spray back down. The Roki's already down. It's going to be Andy going down as well. Milk takes a ton of damage, but it's the high ground. Everybody's just dancing around the top of it. Grenades are starting to rain down, but bouncing a little bit wide. Just 2 members from Brazil are up right now. They're just rolling those grenades right up over the smoke. Here's the footsteps. Rusty Zero's trying to go for the shots. Gets a lot of damage off, but it is just RDNX trying to go for the res. Does manage to get it, but they're just bouncing through smoke. Has to be so cautious. How did that grenade not get them down? RDNX goes down now. It's just Andy who is just res up. Smokes go away, and there we go. Brazil is just down and out.
That's an absolute sweep. They went uphill and just basically curved around Brazil. Manages to take them out, but eyes on the prize. China has heard all these shots kicking off. Korea, they're pushing. Germany over on the opposing side of the hill. He finds Chris. The marksman's gone. We were speaking earlier about the grenades from Russia. You have to be careful. A doozy sent one up and over. That's 3 players he's just taken down with 1 nade.
This is absolutely huge right now. Korea's trying to make their way up the hillside. There are, 6 teams within about 200 meters of this location. Aqua 5 is just trying to make his way up the hillside. Theo's just raining down damage under Uter My Fire, trying to creep his way down the side of this. Look at this, SR's also in a ton of trouble. We've got just so many teams stacking up around these angles. There is just nowhere to go as Korea is just murdering people across this hillside.
Tag team in players. Germany down 8th position. Top 7 alive. Pio still continues the push. Mad 98 onto Leo. China, they made the push. Russia's on the opposing side. Grenades, they should be in their hand. They haven't had too many fights just yet. If a doozy can hit an absolute worlder of a banger here. He did in the previous one. Don't know how many kills he actually managed to pick up from it. Killing spree comes in. 10 kills for Korea. The next challenge in Great Britain has arrived.
Here is the problem. Korea is just fighting everyone around them. So much confidence coming out there. Already up to 10 kills. Now that they've cleared out around them and they're starting to go for that hillside, which will allow them to look back down towards what's going on with Russia. Summer, though, I love this play. He's moving right along this wall. A doozy hears it. The spray comes out from Summer and gets him down first, though. Retaliation comes right out from a doozy. Now, what is Mad gonna do? He is right in the smokes, just spraying where he hears footsteps. A doozy is the last member up. The spray comes up, and there we go. China manages to take down Russia.
Summer And Mad 98 single-handedly shattering the dreams of Russia. They do take the compound and continue the push. PO, up and over we go with the grenade, Reels and Miraku. They find the full frontal effect, and the bombs, they just keep on rolling. PO wants to continue the bombardment. There's 3 kills here, 3 points, and a placement as well. Job done. This could be GBR dead if they find the final player.
It's just Bart off on the back side of this, but it looks like Australia spotted him out, and there you go. Australia and Korea working together, but now Australia is taking some shots up towards Korea. Yeah, gotta be cautious with that. PO takes a lot of damage. Aquaman 5 still playing around the outside of this. You can see both teams just vying, trying to get right on the edge of the circle, but China, after that last fight, they've got the position, and they're starting to push out onto it. Mad, looking back on the other side of Loki, has to be cautious with that push from Korea. Now they have to be very, very, very careful around Australia.
Korea's basically been funneled by the blue. It's just walking, they're walking up against it on the road. There's nothing they can do. They do have a bit of a shielding from it, but every single team that's still alive in the form of China and Australia is just encroaching on their position. They're funneled to this roadside, and unfortunately, I think waiting at the top of it will be imminent death. Godv and December 12th, they are waiting. They are ready. Mad 98 is separated from the rest of the roster. If he's given the go sign, he will jump, he will pounce, and Korea could be in for it here. Yeah,
Korea is right in between both of these teams and has to be so cautious. Godv starting to get a little bit more aggressive. Feels like Mad is kind of their scout up towards the top. As you can see, Loki wants to make his way back around there. Australia is just very comfortable being right along the edge.
China's disengaged. China's actually pulled back from this. Okay, it's cautious.
I think it's just information gathering. That's all Mad's trying to do. That's the high ground point looking back through this.
I suppose they know that Korea has to come over the hillside, right? It's Pika's advantage for them.
Well, PO looks like he's contemplating it with a couple of shots. I think that they spotted out Mad, so they're playing around the other side of the hill. Australia looks like they're wanting to push back over towards Aqua as well. So it's a 2-man squad from Korea pushing Mad right out of this location. It's just going to be narrow misses with sight lines as these hills are just buying a little bit of space and a little bit more time. Aqua does manage to make it back over here, so everybody's starting to regroup, starting to calm down a little bit, trying to get a little bit more information, but it's been so quiet for so long now.
The Aussies have arrived, and that grenade gives up the game. They had the secrecy, but now the info's theirs, and both Korea and Australia, they have to fight this one out across the road. Vasil, you can see Vasily comes out with the nades. They're cycling, they're starting the assault. They'll move forward to this one. I'm okay with that. Move to the circle and maybe gatekeep them. The problem is Mad 98 is a solo player that could cause damage to all of these teams.
Aqua takes a ton of damage. The grenade lands right in front of him. He does go down. They do have a little bit of a shack to play with, but Korea doesn't have a retaliation point from that. They're just going to play along the side of this, throw out a couple of grenades, but Mad's starting to get a little bit more aggressive. Looks like December might be also making a push over there. Really, it's just Godv that's just kind of the anchor point right now towards the center of the circle.
Oh my god. Loki and PO to the push. Did they get away with this?
I think that they managed to sneak around Mad. So Mad's not even following this angle, but it's actually going to be December that spots him out. Shots are going to go through. Look at that. Just a tree to hide behind. Pio's trying to get some work out, but he's out in the blue. He does manage to get a little bit out of this, but he's just going to go down from that. Now it is China and Australia. And I gotta say, Australia's got a lot alive, but they just lost one going down inside of this. Luke going to that high ground position again. That could be a deciding factor.
Look, Godv, he may be a god, but he's now in play with 4 wild Aussies. They are on a main stage. They have been having some fantastic tournaments when they see them playing at the Classics. Atletico, they stunned everybody back at GLL. Insight, back at Face It, they shocked a lot of players. They made it to the grand final stage and they turned up. The Aussies, they're here to play. And I'm sorry, but a 4 versus 1, no matter who you are, this is one hell of a difficult scenario. December 12th is there, but he is bleeding out. Whether or not Godv can bring this back to a 50% deficit is a different question.
He's kind of close to the center of the circle right now, so if he can deny how Australia wants to move, you can see that they're just wanting to move through that ravine right now. Godv can make a play around it. Yeah, they know exactly where he's at. Shots do come out back over towards Luke, about half damage. Godv has to hit the shots of his life. Look at Australia just spread out across this. Insight trying to get a side angle onto this. Grenades are coming out. Godv's just trying to buy a little bit of space, making sure nobody's sneaking up onto him. I gotta say, Australia, very, very patient, and that is 100% the way you want to play this. Godv is just trying to get something out of this, and it's just not going to happen, as everybody from Australia is just biding their time. Again, Luke takes a face full of bullets, but it's not going to be enough, as here comes the push.
They go rolling down the hill, and China will be rolling out in second. Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. Oi, oi, oi! 5 kills and a win, 15 points in the bag. And they needed it after